Record low interest rates fuelled a property market boom, but borrowers now face a tough new reality: soaring mortgage repayments.
We don't know what the future holds, or we don't know where we could be in 1 year's time, in 2 years' time. We could be back having to rent and go through the rental system all over again.
Mr Dowell and his wife's repayments on their $850,000 mortgage will rise by $1,500 a month next year. He says they've got about 6 months of savings to cover the extra costs.
We're going to do all we can to not sell, and I think if it means postponing a family as well, I think that's something that we may need to consider.
Property analyst Eliza Owen expects an increase in forced sales in 2023.
For those who bought into the market perhaps when prices were near their highest, they're facing these rising interest costs and they're overextended, that's where there's going to be a bit more pain.
Before rates started rising, around a third of gross household income was spent on mortgage repayments. That's now risen to 41.5%, and it's expected to increase to 44.5% by June. Some experts believe the banks, regulators and government may need to intervene.
There is a real risk in this cycle in 2023 that we see thousands, tens of thousands of people having to get out of properties or can no longer afford their mortgages. And I think that then becomes a policy issue.
In 2019, the regulator made it easier for people to borrow more than ever before. Instead of buyers being tested on their ability to make repayments at an interest rate floor of 7%, they only had to prove they could pay an extra 2.5% on top of their bank's rate. Recently, that buffer was lifted to 3%. This buyer's advocate says the changes allowed people to take on massive debts while interest rates were low.
They don't think about the ramifications of what that might look like later down the track when obviously interest rates do rise.
Wendy Russell wants stronger financial tests for loans.
The serviceability buffers need to be reviewed. I think it needs to be minimum 10% in my opinion.
This accountant agrees.
Interest rate was 2.19.
He says more than 100 of his clients are already selling their houses or will need to.
It's very bad, especially in the emerging communities because of lack of financial literacy.
Kennedy Weldemariam says his clients are devastated to be giving up the Australian dream of owning their own property.
The banks they have to change their attitude, not just give everybody the money, because the law allows you to do that.
For homeowners struggling to repay their loans, difficult decisions await. Rihanna Whitson, ABC News.